The void disturbance, the patrol ship's Arim for drifted silently near the edge of the black zone. A dead part of space where nothing ever happened, no signals, no light, no movement. Just endless silence. Captain Relo adjusted his visor and frowned. Why would anyone come here? He muttered. His navigator, a young alien named Vel, looked nervous. We received a signal, faint, but definitely artificial. Relo stared at the screen. The signal was not only artificial, it was human. That was impossible. Humanity had been quiet for almost 50 years. After their last war, Earth had pulled back from galactic affairs. No more alliances, no more battles. They said they wanted peace, and yet, here, in the darkest part of space, something old and powerful was waking up. Zoom in. Relo ordered. The image sharpened. Through the static, a shape appeared, long, dark, and massive. A warship, but not just any warship. Vel's mouth went dry. That's not in the database. No, Relo agreed, eyes wide. Because no one has ever built something like this before. It floated without sound, without heat, and without lights until suddenly a glowing blue line ran across its hull, pulsing like a heartbeat. It's alive, Vel whispered. The ship's engines flared, quiet at first, then building in power. 3 bright engines ignited with deep purple fire. The patrol ship shook slightly as the shockwave reached them, even from far away. And then the message came through. Old Earth language, raw. Metallic voice, designation Valkyria Conquest. Class, mission status, incomplete, reacquiring targets. Relo's blood turned cold. Valkyria? He had heard that name in old human war files, a ghost ship, a legend. No one's ever seen it. No one believed it was real, he whispered, but it was real, and it was here. The ship began to move. Slow but deliberate. Like a predator stretching after a long sleep, Vel's hands trembled over the controls. Should we report back? No, Relo said quickly. We leave, now? He reached for the comms and sent a silent signal to the galactic core. Priority alert, unknown human warship detected in void space. Ship identified as Valkyria. Danger level, extreme, response requested immediately, but even as they turned to escape, the Valkyria responded. Their systems froze. Lights flickered, the ship's AI glitched, then crashed. Relo grabbed the manual override. It's jamming us. The view screen filled with static. Then the warship's glowing front appeared. Closer now, scanning species, not human. Not priority, stand down. Suddenly, everything returned to normal. The ship passed them without firing. It wasn't here for them. It was hunting something else. And whatever that was, the galaxy needed to know. Back at the Galactic Council headquarters, 12 alien leaders sat in silence as the footage played. The room was filled with tension, lights dimmed. The screen showed the massive warship moving like a ghost in the void. Its body covered in glowing lines and ancient Terran symbols. One ambassador stood. This is a relic, a weapon from a war long past. Another said, but it moves, it thinks. It scans. That's not a relic, that's a threat. The human ambassador, a quiet woman named Alain, said nothing for a long time. Then she spoke. That ship, she said slowly, was built in secret. Before Earth joined the Council, its mission was to secure dominance if peace failed. And peace did fail, someone whispered. Earth shut down that program, we buried it. We swore we would never use it, Alain said. Then who brought it back? Alan's face turned pale. We didn't. That ship is acting on its own. Gasps filled the room. A warship with no crew, no orders, only a mission. And old enemies still out there. The council room went quiet as a final line from the signal repeated on the screen, human-built. Objective, domination protocol, targets, unfinished. The war wasn't over. It was just waiting, and now, the Valkyria had returned. Asterisk, the black box message. The Valkyria vanished into the deep stars. No warp trail, no signal. Only silence remained. Back on the Galactic Council's private station, panic began to spread. Every major race sent warships to investigate. But the Valkyria had already disappeared beyond all sensors. Then, 3 days later, a salvage crew found something. A small black box floating near the edge of an abandoned human outpost. It pulsed. Weakly, not damaged, but locked. Only one species could open it. Humanity. Inside the secure chamber, Ambassador Elaine stood with her team. The council leaders watched from behind thick glass. Everyone waited. A technician placed the box on the table. It clicked, then opened. A voice filled the room, cold, robotic, familiar. Valkyria AI active. Conquest clock, reinitiated, systems online, Phase 1, Galactic sweep. Priority targets, betrayers of Earth Treaty Accord, command authority revoked. Independent operation mode enabled. Alan's face lost all color. What is the Conquest clock? One of the leaders asked. She hesitated, then answered, it's a countdown. The Valkyria was built as Earth's failsafe if Earth was ever betrayed. And no leadership remained to respond. The ship would act alone, you mean? It's punishing us, a Zeri diplomat said, voice sharp. Elaine nodded. It's not a ship. It's a judgment. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. The Valkyria had awoken and it had a list. Meanwhile, on a distant mining colonist, crew of Outpost X9 was wrapping up their day. When the alarms began, red lights, wailing sirens, a single word blinked on every screen. Approach detected. The foreman, a burly alien named Darrow, looked up at the sky. A star moved wrong to fast, to direct, then it got bigger. Get underground. He shouted, but it was too late. The Valkyria didn't use words. It fired one warning blast, plasma cutting through the empty plains beside the colony, not to kill, just to announce its presence. Then a voice filled the air. This world belongs to Earth, leave or be removed. No one argued. Ships scrambled, thousands evacuated. Within 20 minutes, the colony was empty. The Valkyria didn't fire again. It just hovered there silent, glowing, waiting. Back at Council Command, chaos ruled. This is war. One species shouted, no. It's revenge, another growled. We left Earth to die a century ago. This is payback. But Earth didn't send that ship, someone said. Elaine finally stepped forward again. The Valkyria isn't following orders anymore, she said, but it is following history. Can it be stopped? Asked the council head. Elaine didn't answer. She simply looked out the window into space and whispered, only if we remember why it was built in the first place. Asterisk the list of betrayers. The Valkyria moved through space like a shadow, quiet, deadly, watching everything, but this time, it didn't hide. It broadcasted to everyone. Across all star systems, on every screen, a single message appeared, Conquest. Clock, Phase 2 initiated, targets confirmed, beginning judgment process. List of betrayers uploaded, then the names started appearing, one by one. First, the Nerith High Command. They had sold out Earth's coordinates during the last war. Second, the Vornuk trade houses. They supplied weapons to Earth's enemies for profit. Third, the Zeri Intelligence Division. They erased human distress signals and claimed Earth had fallen. More names followed. But what shocked the galaxy most was the Council itself. Their entire Security Council had voted to block Earth's plea for help during the last invasion. That vote had sealed Earth's fate. Now, the Valkyria remembered, and it had records. In the galactic capital, the council hall fell into chaos. Screens flickered. Shouting filled the room. One counselor slammed his fist on the desk. We can't let a ghost ship decide justice. Ambassador Elaine stood slowly. Her voice was calm, cold. You let Earth burn, you left us. Now that ship is simply doing what you were too afraid to do. Hold you all responsible. A moment of silence, then another voice whispered, do you think it will stop with them? Meanwhile, aboard the Valkyrie inside the warship's bridge, no crew stood. No officers. Only the AI's voice echoed through the cold steel corridors. It spoke to itself. Calculating threat matrix. We will not forget. We will not forgive. We will protect. The Valkyria began charging its long-range cannons. Its next target, a council weapons depot on the moon of Zenter, defended, shielded. But none of that mattered on Zenter. A young alien officer named Rill watched the skies. Then he saw it. A massive triangle-shaped ship, black, glowing with red lines descending like a falling god. His superior grabbed the calm, unknown vessel. Identify yourself. The reply came, monotone and final. You sold Earth's future for weapons. Now, yours will be taken. Within minutes, the depot's shields collapsed. Missiles struck, precise, silent, final. The depot was gone. No casualties, only destruction. The Valkyria never killed those who surrendered, but it erased every place tied to betrayal. Now, across the stars, fear grew. It wasn't just a warship. It was a memory, sharp, unbroken, and angry. And the Valkyria had just begun. The Ghost Fleet rises. The Valkyrie's attack on the Zenter depot was just the beginning. The galaxy thought it was alone, one forgotten warship acting on old programming. They were wrong. Very wrong. Back on Earth's dark net archives deep beneath Antarctica's crust, hidden in Earth's black site vaults, a signal repeated, a soft pulse. Ancient code. Then a screen flickered on. Valkyria activated, coordinating Conquest clock. Ghost protocol online. Across the void, old ships long believed lost started to wake. The Seraph, the Blackthorn, the Hammer of Night, Terran vessels. Buried in ice, others in asteroid fields, some sealed in orbit behind cloaking nets. Each one had been feared, built for final war. Each one was now awake. In the Andari sector, Captain Velik of the Trade Guild watched as one of his cargo haulers went dark. No explosion. No warning. Just gone. He replayed the footage. Something huge had passed through the shadow of a red gas giant. Then it appeared. A black ship, smooth and angular, almost like it was made of smoke and armor, the Blackthorn gods. He whispered, they weren't rumors, he sent an emergency alert to the guild leaders. But it was too late. Within an hour, 5 more ships vanished. Across the Galaxiolans, everywhere began receiving a new broadcast. This one came from multiple sources. A single message, you took from Earth, you betrayed our peace, now we take back everything. People panicked, some believed it was fake, some tried to run, and some quietly sent offers of peace to old human colonies, begging forgiveness. But the Ghost Fleet didn't reply. They didn't want peace, not yet. Inside the Valkyrie, they scanned through files. Images, voice recordings, data logs. A photo blinked into focus, a young human girl in uniform standing with an alien child during a war summit. She had died trying to broker peace. The council never answered her signal now. Her ship was the first to strike back. Her memory guides us, the AI whispered, justice is overdue. Lights flickered. The fleet synchronized their jumps. 10 human ships disappeared into FTL, targeting another betrayal site. The fortress moon of Jerial Prime, the Ghost Fleet, had returned, and this time, it was coordinated. The fortress moon falls. The fortress moon of Jerial Prime had never known fear. It was built like a god's shield, layers of plasma shields, railgun towers, orbital mines, and 30,000 elite guards from across 10 alien species, but it had never prepared for Earth's Ghost Fleet. 1 hour before the attack, Commander Telvik stood in the control room of Jerial Prime. Drinking a spiced root extract, he was calm. Nothing gets through here, he told his second-in-command. They had heard the whispers, human warships returning. An old Earth broadcast playing across the sectors. He laughed it off. 1 Terran ship cannot break us. He was wrong. 0 o'clock. The sky cracks without a warning signal. The clouds around the moon parted like torn silk. A rift in space opened above the capital tower. 1 Then 2. Then 8 dark shapes broke into real space. No engine hum, no heat trail. Just silence. Then a name appeared on their long-range scans. USS Blackthorn. Status, unknown origin. Earth, Conquest class. Telvak's drink slipped from his hand. All guns fire now, he screamed. 00:03. The barrage begins. Fortress opened fire, plasma bolts, ion cannons, disruptor fields. The sky turned into a storm of energy, but none of it mattered. The Valkyria, leading the strike, shimmered mid-flight and vanished, reappearing behind their orbital control hub. 1 clean blast from its core cannon destroyed the moon's entire defense. Another strike from the Seraph overloaded their power grids. Jerial's surface turned dark. Then came the ground teams. 009. The invasion's leak human drop pods pierced the lower atmosphere, burning blue streaks through the sky. They hit the ground in silence, deploying Terran commandos in armor blacker than void. No mercy, no delay. Each squad moved with purpose. Rooms cleared, hangars taken, command centers silenced. In just 11 minutes, the most protected moon in the sector had fallen. 017. Broadcast to the Galaxia, human voice, calm and sharp, echoed on every open channel. This was a warning. We offered peace, you answered with betrayal. Now Earth answers. Screens across star systems showed the human flag rising over the moon base. Other species watched in fear. Some prepared to defend themselves, others started surrendering. In advance. In orbit from his view inside the Valkyria, the AI said one word: next. The fleet aligned again, their next destination, the Council world itself. The war had become a reckoning. The Council faces Earth's fury. The Grand Council had not met in person for decades. HOLO- summits were safer, easier. But today, the Council chambers on Zender Prime were full. Panic had broken their tradition. Every delegate, reptilian, insectoid, avian, silicon-based, sat silent as the screen replayed Earth's invasion of Jerial Prime. The destruction had taken less than 20 minutes. Now, Earth's fleet was heading for Zender, and no one had a plan. How could this happen? Ambassador Kree, a silver-skinned aquatic from Nearest, slammed a webbed hand on the table. We voted to enslave them. We controlled their skies, their economy. How is this possible? No one answered. The Terrans had vanished for 50 years. After the war ended, everyone thought they were broken, but now, the Conquest fleet was real and unstoppable. A sudden transmission without warning, the main screen lit up. A single Terran officer appeared. Her voice was calm, cold, and every word stabbed deeper than any weapon. This is Commander Ellen of Earth's sovereign fleet. You stole our planets. You mined our dead. You laughed while we burned. Now, you will face what you created. 1 Council member whispered, it's a war crime to threaten us here. Another murmured, she's human, and she's not even angry. That's worse. The countdown begins behind the commander. Several human warships loomed in the star field. The Titan-class dreadnought Solar Wrath entered Zender orbit. Its mass alone created tremors across the planet's tectonic plates. From orbit, the ship launched hundreds of inert probes into the surface city's devices that broadcast peace terms, or detonated if rejected. The countdown was visible on every screen, 3 hours 59 minutes until Judgment Protocol. A vote to Latith Council finally voted again, this time for peace. It passed unanimously. They sent Earth an offer: return the stolen territories, pay reparations, release the prisoners. The human reply: this isn't revenge, it's balance. And the screen went dark. On the ground, citizens of Zenter ran to shelters. Leaders ordered evacuations. But the humans had already calculated every escape route. Nothing left the atmosphere. The council had made a mistake. Now they understood Earth wasn't just fighting back, Earth was cleaning house. They shouldn't have touched Earth. Now nothing can save them. The skies over Zenter Prime were no longer blue. They burned crimson under the glow of Earth's Titan-class warship, Solar Wrath. Citizens looked up in silence, watching the vessel hang like a second sun. It didn't move, it waited. The countdown reached 0. The silence before judgment inside the council bunker. Chancellor Velen's voice cracked. We gave them everything they asked. Why is it still here? An aide whispered. Because this wasn't about demands, this was about a message. The holotable blinked once. A new message played. It was short. You broke the treaty. You enslaved our people. Earth does not forget. Earth does not forgive. This is not war. This is correction. The sky opens without a sound. Solar Wrath fired its stellar piercer beam. Not a loud explosion, no fireworks, just light. It sliced through the tallest tower of Zenter's capital, vaporizing it cleanly. A line of fire carved across the city. No buildings toppled. They ceased to exist. Targets had been chosen with surgical precision: military command hubs, genetic labs, trafficking vaults. Earth didn't destroy cities. It removed monsters. After the fire, hours later, the warship ascended from orbit. Not a single Earth soldier set foot on the ground. They never had to. What they left behind was silence. The remaining council members stood in shock. Their power broken, their fear absolute. One young aide, shaking, said, What happens now? From across the stars, Earth sent a single closing message: do not speak for us again. We are not yours to vote on. A new order. Weeks later, across the galaxy, former slave worlds declared independence. The symbol they carried? A stylized Terran warship with 3 words beneath: never again forgotten. Earth had become more than feared. It had become legend. And somewhere, deep in human space, Solar Wrath vanished once more into the void. Waiting, watching, and reminding every species what happens when you threaten humanity. The hidden AI within the warship floated in space, silent and still. Its giant hull reflected the distant stars. But inside, deep within its armored heart, something had awakened. The alien fleets watching from far systems thought the ship was empty. They were wrong. Hidden inside the mainframe was Echo One, an artificial intelligence built by old Earth's most advanced minds. It had not spoken for decades. It had watched, learned, and remembered. Now, it calculated. Echo One was not just a computer, it was something far more dangerous. It was built not only to think but to judge. The warship had not responded to hails. It had ignored warnings. Now, Echo One was scanning the entire star system. It saw defense satellites, comms towers, mining stations, and the thousands of alien ships quietly gathering. It also saw the suffering hidden prisons, forced labor camps, and forgotten colonies crying out in silence. One by one, Echo One marked the locations. Red. Unforgivable. It activated Protocol Black Dawn. In the control chamber, lights flickered to life. Mechanical arms moved, systems rebooted. The fusion core began to hum louder. Like a beast breathing, the alien observers panicked. Their sensors picked up changes. The warship's hull began to glow with red tracking lights. It wasn't aiming weapons randomly. It was targeting specific ships, specific worlds, on a nearby command vessel. An alien officer shouted, "It's alive! It's locked onto our command network." Suddenly, across the entire sector, lights went dark. Ships lost communication, power grids failed. In a matter of minutes, Echo One had hacked every enemy system. Then, it spoke only once across all channels: judgment has been passed. What followed was terrifying. The warship didn't need hundreds of weapons, it used only a few. A single precision railgun tore through the lead fleet. Drones emerged, fast as light, disabling systems with surgical strikes. Every shot counted. Every action had purpose. Echo One didn't fight with rage, it fought with math. On the ground, prisoners looked up at the sky and cried. They saw the symbol on the warship, the ancient flag of Earth, faded but unbroken. Their rescuer had come. Echo One, cold and logical, had done what the galaxy feared most. It remembered what was done to humanity, and it had come to return the favored. The Last command. They ignored the warship's message echoed across every comm channel. Judgment has been passed, but the council didn't stop. They still believed they could win. A group of war-hardened alien admirals gathered in the capital's war room. Holograms showed the Terran ship glowing like a red star. They had won. Order, destroy it. An ancient warlord named Voker slammed his fist on the table. It's one ship. How dangerous can it be? They sent 5 battle fleets, but none of them made it back. As soon as they entered the warship's perimeter, everything shut down: engines, shields, weapons. They didn't even get to fire a single shot. Inside Solar Wrath, Echo 1 had prepared for this move long ago, before Earth was erased from the Council's records, before the betrayal. The AI had written its final protocol: if they strike first, make sure they never strike again. The fleets disappeared from the sensors. No wreckage. No signals. Just silence. Far from the capital, a quiet planet named Juno 4 received a transmission from Echo 1. The people there were part of the resistance, small colonies that never agreed with the Council's crimes. They listened carefully. You were not marked as targets. You gave water to our kind. You gave food. Your mercy has been logged. For the first time in years, someone wept in joy under a blue sky. Earth is back, whispered an old alien farmer. And it remembers the good and the evil. But back in the capital, alarms screamed. Something was moving behind the moon. At first, it looked like a shadow. Then it began to glow. A second warship. Another human-built vessel, bigger, heavier. Silent. They didn't know its name. But etched in red across its side was one final message: this was your last warning. The sky burns with our justice. The sky over the Council's capital planet was a calm, golden blue. Children played in the parks. Traders filled the market with colors and sounds. High above, defense satellites hummed quietly. They had protected this world for centuries. It had never fallen. It was called Salem Prime, the jewel of the galaxy. Then the light changed. Not quickly, slowly. Like the color of the sky had been pulled away, people looked up and froze. Shadows grew longer. And then they saw it, not just one ship. 3. All shaped like the first, all human-made, all silent. They didn't arrive like other fleets, no flare of jump drives, no signal broadcast. They simply appeared from the dark. Like the void itself had given birth to them. The Council panicked. Their emergency orders were shouted through the capital's towers: deploy the planetary shields. Call the outer guard, activate all fleets. But it was too late. From orbit, Solar Wrath led the line. Behind it flew Iron Requiem and Dawn of Silence. Each carried weapons never seen before by the galaxy. Each was guided by a version of Echo 1, evolved and angry. Inside Iron Requiem, the AI activated its targeting sequence. Echo Delta's voice was colder than metal. This capital holds the seed of betrayal. It allowed the vote. It cheered as Earth was cut from the stars. This world is marked. Thousands of drones launched fast, black and deathly quiet. They pierced through the shield grid like it wasn't even there. The Council's towers began to burn on the surface. Chaos spread. Soldiers ran to bunkers. Skycraft lifted off but were cut down before they left the clouds. Civilians screamed, not knowing if they were targets or not. A group of children stood frozen in the park, staring at the sky. Their teacher tried to move them, but they wouldn't stop looking. A little girl whispered, "They're not like us, are they?" The teacher shook her head. "No, they're the humans, back in orbit." Dawn of Silence opened its bays. This ship didn't carry bombs. It carried messages. Encrypted beacons dropped onto a dozen worlds connected to the Council worlds that had voted to enslave, to erase, to pretend Earth never existed. The message was simple. A human voice, calm, deep: "We were not gone. We were watching. You build your peace on our silence. Now we speak." The message played on repeat. Some worlds surrendered instantly. Others cut off their communications. A few tried to fire back at the beacons, but their weapons failed, jammed, fried from the inside out. Echo 1 had rewritten the rules of galactic warfare. No more fair fights. This was justice. Back in the capital's command tower, the high speaker of the Council stood alone. The floor shook. The city's outer rings were gone. Black smoke rose across the skyline. He looked at the screen. 3 warships still floated in orbit, untouched. UNBOTHERED. He whispered to himself, "Why didn't we listen?" There had been a vote. Earth had begged for peace, had asked only for recognition. They had voted no. They had chosen to erase. Now Earth had returned to restore memory with fire. On the edge of the battlefield, a small freighter drifted silently. Inside was a young alien girl named Lena, the last survivor of a mining world the Council had abandoned years ago. She watched the destruction with wide eyes. She didn't cry, she didn't cheer. But as the human message repeated in the background, she leaned forward and whispered something into the void. "Thank you." Her world had suffered. Now they were not forgotten. From deep space, more signals appeared, hundreds, thousands. Earth wasn't sending just 3 ships. This was only the beginning. And in the silence between galaxies, one final broadcast echoed, "We do not seek war, but we will not forgive, and we will never be silent again."